Wha- What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. This is the vibe curator, Mr. Maverick. Shake, good boy. Um, we got a good episode today. Really cool episode. You know, before we get into the episode, I got to thank the companies that help us do this. Free Fly Apparel, Temple Fork Outfitter Rods. We got River Smith, Bahio Sunglasses, Loon. We got them all. Not them all, but we got a good group behind us. And I really appreciate everything that they do. But like I said, really cool interview today. We got another artist. His name is Mr. Joel Stoehr. Can't wait to get into this interview. But before we get into the interview, I'd like to talk about the Riversmith Outfitters Convoy Series. Convoy Series bag. What an unbelievable bag. The 45 liter can hold just about anything you need to go on a fly trip. Whether you're in a drift boat, you're in a raft, john boat, whatever you're in, it is perfect to store all of your stuff that can't get wet, something that can't get stepped on. All of the compartments are padded, which is really cool. They have a really good tutorial video of them stepping on the entire bag, and then they open it back up and nothing is broken inside of it. Unbelievable accessory to have. Their duffel bag for traveling, another great accessory. Same thing, very well padded so that you don't have to worry about rods breaking, anything shattering, like, your GoPros or your drones if you're big into filming. Just a really cool product they got there. And if you want to save 10% on any of those products, use the code Wrangler10. That's WRANGLER10. Again, that's WRANGLER10. You might be wondering why I'm drinking a cup of coffee at 5:30 in the evening. The real question is, why not? Why not? I just felt like drinking a cup of coffee, so guess what I did? Brewed one up, some good Afueta coffee, and here we are, sitting here. We got the vibe curator back there. Got to give you a treat. Shake. Hey, shake. Good boy. He gets his treat. I get mine. Dang. Sounds like it's pretty appetizing there, pal. But we got some good Afueta coffee in this awesome mug that my girlfriend got me with all these fish on it. Skipjack tuna, a cod, haddock, rainbow trout, perch. Very wide variety of amphibious animals we got here. But you know what? I thought it was pretty cool. I drink out of this cup often. But until then, here is the interview with Mr. Joel. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. Like I said in the intro, we have an interview today. Another artist. I've been very interested in this side of the industry recently, just because it's something that I am horrible at, and I just don't have much insight on that side of it. So I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit, Joel.
All right. Well, thanks for having me here today, Ryan. My name is Joel Stoehr. I'm a painter, an artist, and a teacher living in New York City. A special part of New York City, actually, and been a fly fisherman for, almost my whole life. And so a little bit of that has started to come into the artwork I make.
That's pretty cool, man. What part of New York City do you live in?
So my wife and I are on Jamaica Bay. which
Oh,
is
cool.
we're on the Rockaway Peninsula. It's technically Queens, so we're one of the 5 boroughs. But we've got the Atlantic on one side of the peninsula and Jamaica Bay on the other side. If anyone's ever flown in or out of JFK Airport, they've probably flown over Jamaica Bay from one direction or the other. So while we're technically in the city, it feels about as far outside of New York as you can be, and
Okay.
still be in one of the 5 boroughs.
You a Jets or Giants fan?
Oh gosh, you know what? I'm not even. I would have to say the Giants, but only because my father was a Giants
I got
fan,
you.
so and a Mets fan. With me, I haven't watched a whole lot of professional football.
I got you.
So
Yankees, same thing.
Mets, it'd be
Mets,
the Mets
good.
for
All
my
right,
dad.
smart man, smart man.
Yeah.
I'm a big Red Sox fan, so
All right.
that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But let's get into a little bit of fishing. Where and when did your fishing journey start?
I mean, it probably like most of the people you have on it was from as a child growing up, and so I grew up in upstate New York, a small town called Oneonta, which is a college town, kind of between Binghamton and Albany. Maybe outside of the Catskills, but the northern edge of the Catskills Mountains. And so my earliest fishing memory was my uncle. So the small town I lived in, my aunt and uncle were in the house next door. Another aunt and uncle were up the street. And I remember one of the earliest memories was my uncle taking me to his parents' place, and they had a really small pond and catching probably sunfish and
Okay.
putting them in a mayonnaise jar, which it must have been huge, like a big mayonnaise jar to
Yeah.
fit little baby sunfish into it for a little while. But besides that, my father always took me fishing growing up. So, and Oneonta had the headwaters of the Susquehanna River there. It had a lot of trout, small trout streams, not the legendary rivers that you hear about in the Catskills, but smaller farm creeks that had brook trout and then stocked brown trout in them as well. So my father was a teacher too, a public school teacher. So there was always kind of time. Either after his day would end at 3 o'clock, and I'd be home from school, so we'd go fishing in the evening or on the weekends. So that's how my fishing journey kind of started. Um, but fly fishing was something that I kind of learned on my own when I was in middle school,
Okay.
and something that wasn't introduced to me by a parent, but my dad took it up for me. He may not have shared the passion for it that I had, but fly fishing is something that I probably started in 6th grade and kept doing my whole life.
That's really cool, dude. I love that Catskills area. Um,
Yeah,
I used to have an aunt and uncle that had a place up there, and we used to go. I remember being up there one time. What was the ski mountain we were at? I completely forget. But
there's Bel Air, Hunter, Wyndham. There's even others, Gore and stuff like that further upstate.
I forget which one it was, but it was so cold one night. And I'm
Yeah,
talking, we were going like snow tubing, and it was miserably cold. Like wind was blowing. It's like I've sat at Patriots games when it's snowing outside. I've never
yeah,
felt it like that, where it's just it literally feels like you're getting shot with a BB gun because it's like because the snow's freezing. But dude, that area is just beautiful. I love the Catskills
it
Mountains.
is. Yeah,
But
really was a nice place to grow up.
oh, I bet there's so much water that you can fish around there too.
Yeah,
Because when I was up there, I wish I like was more into fly fishing when I go up there because it's like you're driving down the road and there are like millions of streams up there.
yeah.
It's
There's legendary
unbelievable.
water, the Delaware watershed, the east and west branch of the Delaware, and the main stem after they joined Beaverkill, Willowweemock, Neversink, the Esopus, Schoharie Creek, just so many legendary fly fishing rivers.
Oh yeah, but could you share what originally inspired you to pursue painting and sculpture before transitioning into teaching?
Yeah. Um, Growing up, art was something that I was always attracted to. And through grade school and middle school, even in high school, my senior year of high school, I went and worked for an artist for the afternoon. I went to high school for the morning and then left and went to work for an artist in the afternoon. But I guess what happened is because it's something I always did. I had to decide what I was going to go to school for, and I chose to go to school for painting as an undergrad. And there was going to be something with history, museum studies, or art, and I chose art. Um, and it's been the kind of thing that I kept up with. Went to grad school, did some art residencies after grad school, decided to move to New York City because that's kind of, the art capital, or that, or Los Angeles, and some other cities in the country. But that's where a lot of, people after school would go. And I was lucky enough too that I found my way into teaching through working at an art school. I actually started by running the wood shop for an art and design school here in New York City, and that I was scrappy enough and persistent enough that turned into a full time teaching position. So it wasn't something that I planned, but it was something that I feel like I was really fortunate to fall into, because it's teaching in higher ed. You have a lot of free time to pursue your research, and for me, that research, a lot of professors have to publish or speak or present, but for me, that would be making artwork and trying to put it out there.
I gotcha. Dude, I feel like New York City is a big place for like either authors or artists.
It is, yeah.
Like
I mean, it's
huge.
endless opportunity. It
Oh
really
yeah.
is.
But so like how do you balance teaching administrative roles and then like maintaining an active art practice?
That is a major challenge, and it's something that varies too. Being a full time faculty, I've had to take on leadership roles in the past and coordinating classes where you have 30 sections, or I've been a program director before, which is the equivalent of being a chair of a program where you're looking out for an entire department like product or industrial design. And when you take on those heavy administrative roles, it's really difficult to find that time in your studio and to maintain that. And I'm still doing some of that administrative work, but I've also learned in the past 4 years, 3, 4 years, that I just, you have to be. I'm fortunate enough to be in higher ed, but you have to be really protective of your time and make sure that you're prioritizing that studio time just as much as you are putting in the service. Because I've got the teaching I teach 3 days a week, um, and that takes up a lot of time. But if you add another day of service on there, you got to make sure that fifth day of the week is time to make your artwork. That's why I consider myself lucky to teach in higher ed, is that the profession recognizes that research portion of your job, and if you protect it, then you get to use it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I'm really lucky that I get, my fifth work day of the week is a studio day. And then you add on maybe a weekend or something like that, and you can get that time in. Another thing with education in general, too, is if you have those winter breaks or the summer break, which is long, you can treat that portion as an art residency, really, and just focus on making sure that you're in your studio on a regular basis. What's different from me than a lot of other people, and I never got that graphic design background, and it's not how I've been able to supplement my income. So it's teaching,
Yeah.
and so I'm not out there doing jobs or searching for jobs through graphic design. In a way, I'm kind of jealous of people that did,
Yeah.
because they can really turn stuff out that's amazing. But in another way, the profession I'm in is giving me that time to focus on making my artwork,
Right.
part of the week, or during winter and summer breaks. So that's been great.
It's amazing how that graphic design has blown up and how many there are
Yeah,
now. It's insane.
yeah,
Like you probably heard of Jaden through Javi and them. He
yeah.
he did my logo, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like, he teaches too. I think he teaches. I want to say it's elementary school, and he's like, yeah, man. He's like,
Uh huh.
I don't do this like as a full time job. He's like, I just do it for like guys like you. He did my logo, and he's like, keeps me busy in that off season.
Yeah.
So, but Javi told me you're quite the striper fisherman. Um, do you do most of your striper fishing with a fly rod?
I do about all of it now. I mean, there's been a couple of years ago where a neighbor of mine who moved away, he would always bait fish. So we've gone out and catch stripers on live bunker menhaden, adult size, 12-inch long menhaden. And I've done that in the past. And, I did spend some time as a surf caster using plugs. And so, like a metal lip swimmer is a lot of fun to use on a spitting rod in the surf.
Oh yeah.
And, but the surf casting guys those are the pros. But, um, right now, I would say the only striper fishing I've done in the past 4 or 5 years has been all on the fly rod.
That's so much
Just
fun.
because, yeah, and it's a challenge. It's not as if you want to catch fish, it's not as efficient, but it's way more enjoyable for me.
Oh yeah. I think the reward aspect of it is like what got me
Yeah.
hooked. This is like especially striper
Hmm.
fishing, where it's like you can do it so many different ways too, especially up north. Like walking the
Yeah.
beach. Like a lot of my buddies and some
Hmm.
like my uncle who lives in New Hampshire. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, I can walk the beach when we're out at the Cape and cast in the surf and catch striper there, or we could go out on a
Yeah.
boat. And he's like, it's just super
Exactly.
accessible.
It is, and that's kind of the funny thing about New York too, is that a lot of the fishing people I know of, fly fishermen or not, are guys, girls that live in Brooklyn and more like in Manhattan area that will jump on a train and bring their fly rod out and walk around Jamaica Bay or go to the ocean beaches here too,
Yeah,
um, and fish the ocean side. So you don't have to have a boat to do it
right.
for the
Dude,
striper fishing.
I forget what it was, but I think I saw a video on Fly Lords where there was a guy
Yeah.
in New York City, and they hopped on the
Hmm.
train, and I forget where it was. I think it
Yeah.
was somewhere in Central Park. They rented a boat and they were catching carp on a fly.
Yeah, I think that was probably Brandon Dale, who has a guide service that he takes people carp fishing, and there's a bunch of ponds in Central Park. I don't know exactly the ones he's at. There's one by the boathouse, so I think he's there. But what's kind of cool about what they do is it's sight fishing for
Yeah,
these carp, and so for me in Jamaica Bay, the sight fishing opportunities are really not like it is for redfish down south. Once in a while you'll see some stripers because the water clouds up over the summer, so it's clear in the early spring and it's clear in the late fall. But we don't have the sand flats. It's more of a weedy bottom here in Jamaica Bay, so the opportunity to sight fish are really few and far between. But with the carp fishing, something like that, even in Prospect Park in Brooklyn has probably carp in the lake too. So you have a lot of opportunities to see the fish and target it and cast to it,
that was
and that part's
something.
thrilling.
That was something that I was like very interested in when I saw it. I was like, they're in the heart of New York City and they're catching
Yeah.
fish on a fly rod, just like hopping on a train. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
It's like I'd like to go to
Yeah, and
Boston
that
and do
same
something like
train,
that.
exactly. Those same subway trains will bring you out to Rockaway Beach, so you could go to Jamaica Bay. You could go to the Atlantic Beach, the beaches here, and fish those too. So
That's so dang cool.
it's it was one of the first things. I moved to New York in 2002, and what's one of the first things I did was figure out to go from where I was living at the time to get down here and find spots to fish.
That's awesome. What
Yeah.
what's been your favorite part of striper fishing?
I have a small skiff, an old Boston whaler from the hull's from 1983, but I got a new engine on it, a relatively new engine. And my favorite part about striper fishing is being out of my boat and just seeing the birds, seeing the wildlife,
Yeah.
whatever it is, whatever the weather's doing that day. And so catching fish is, of course, a bonus, right?
All right.
When we come across them, it's fun to do. But I think my favorite part about it is sort of just following the birds if they're around or trying to read it when they're not around, too. And they're not always there. They're not always showing you where the fish are. But just the time outdoors is really what is kind of the most thrilling. And it, like you said, too, it's like where you can go from walking the beach and casting into the surf that way, or getting on top of the rock jetties, or renting a skiff, or if you have a boat or a friend with a boat, that's another way to target fish. So it's just that time outdoors, I think, is what is most thrilling for me about it. Of course, when you catch a fish on a fly you made yourself too, that part's
Oh yeah.
exciting.
That's what
But yeah,
right before I hopped on here, I had to like clean up my fly tying desk because it looked like a bomb went off on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm actually doing some stuff for Sean with Afterwork Fish Club. You met him yet? He's a friend of Hobbies.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing some. They have their Red Spot Roundup coming up, so I've been doing some flies for that for the fly division. Dude, I had my entire bench covered.
Yeah.
I was like, I love getting down those rabbit holes though.
Mm-hmm. You don't have a dog, do you?
I do. I have a Boston Terrier.
I hope your dog is. Man, I have a dog I love to death, but she took 3 packs of, those Whiting's bugger packs? You
Yes.
get like 2 different pieces of hackle. I had 3 of those sitting out last week. My wife had gone away on a work trip, and then that morning I was going out to do something, and I came back. I left at 10 and came back at 5, and I left all the fly tying stuff out. And out of spite, I think my dog was just upset that the wife left and I left. She devoured 3 packs of the Whiting's bugger, the Whiting's bugger packs, and just every fly tying piece I had left out it was like raccoons broke into the place and
Oh my
destroyed
gosh.
everything.
Did you have to bring it to the
Yeah.
vet?
No, she didn't ingest any hooks, and the
Oh.
only thing she tore the feathers off the chicken skin, and I think ate the chicken skin.
Hey, at least it was the chicken skin, and you could save some of the feathers.
Yeah, I had to pick all the feathers when they're on the skin. It's so easy to sort and find out the exact size piece you need, and
Yeah.
now every feather is stuffed into a Ziploc bag.
Oh yeah.
No.
That's the big thing that we're pretty skittish about with our dog. We got a little Boston Terrier. He likes to get around and he likes being up behind me. Usually he is, but my girlfriend got home. He went out there to hang out with her. He likes to get into the tinsel and that can wrap around
Oh yeah.
his inside.
Yeah.
And that's like the big no. It's like if I drop a piece of
Yeah.
tinsel, I'm vacuuming it up. But what has been your favorite piece of artwork so far?
So is are you asking about my artwork or in general?
Your artwork.
My art. Well, that's a tough one. I've been painting now. So painting something I studied in undergrad, and I did it probably. I was undergrad from '94 to '98, and I painted in high school and painted, and then I started making sculpture, and I still do some wood carving and sculpture that way. But I found my way back into painting probably in around 2016, and a lot of the paintings I did were watercolor, and then more recently started with oil paints. Um, so my favorite piece of artwork that I've done. I've got paintings I'm more proud of than others, and subject matter that's clicked and things that I'm excited about. Like I got a painting on the wall behind me that's the Cutty Hunk Fishing Club
Okay.
that I was really pleased with. I got a painting on the wall behind me is an image of my friend pheasant hunting. Um, and if you want to see any of those paintings, I would say go to my website. But maybe I'm still hopefully my favorite work is the next one I'm going to make, or the
Right.
one that's coming up, or the one that's better than the last one. What's been kind of nice with painting is that there's maybe peaks and valleys all the time, but I do see a steady progression in my work, and you see that in other artists' work too. And so it's what's nice is that always seeing that here's what I did in that previous one, and here's what I did a little bit differently in the next one, and how you represent something changes, or how you put the paint down changes, how you might capture the feeling at the moment, like the light or the imagery, whatever it is. That's always getting better, and I see that in other artists' work as well too. So for me, my favorite thing is hopefully something that I'm going to create next.
I gotcha. Um, dude, so I heard you were featured in the David Goggins book.
Yeah, it. This was, I think, one he's written a bunch of them, but this was he wrote at least now 2 on fishing, The Optimist and The Believer. And The Optimist was the first one. I hope I got that right, David. It was the first one. But I knew David. I went to an art residency in 2001 in Skowhegan, Maine. And I met David at that art residency. And at the time, we fished together. It was, I guess, the Androscoggin Androscoggin River in Maine, and it had smallmouth and brown trout. So we did some fishing together then. And I didn't see David after that art residency for a long time. And I think it was probably around 2012, 2013, 2014. I was walking down the street in New York City on my way to work, and he was standing right outside. It was like the Village Quad Cinema, or one of these little movie theaters in Greenwich Village. And I bumped into him on the street, and we started talking. And I had a small skiff at the time, and I invited him out to Jamaica Bay to go fishing. So he came out, and we did some striper fishing and caught some schoolie stripers. And since that, we've been fishing together, off and on once or twice a year. He's really kind to invite me up to his trout water up in the Catskills. And I go up and do that. And when he's free in the city and wants to get out for the fall striper run, or when the spring stripers, when they start, he reaches out and I take him out that way. So, and he wrote a nice little chapter that kind of bridged Jamaica Bay fishing with some fishing out on the eastern end of Long Island, Montauk.
Oh, cool.
In that area. So that's my connection to David. But he's a really talented writer. And The Optimist and The Believer were great books just because they're really readable, and whatever sort of stage you're at with your fishing or the type of fishing you do, especially when it's fly fishing, and learning to fly fish later in life is a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you have someone to guide you when you're young, they can always help correct you. But when you're older, picking it up, it can be it's a lot to take on. And David really writes about that in a really relatable way.
Right.
It's nice to read.
It is, like, that's a big thing that I've been hearing from people is, like, when you're picking it up, it's very intimidating. Like,
yeah.
Walking into a fly shop can seem very intimidating to people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I kind of agree that it is very intimidating. It's like I talk to a wall if it talks back to me. So it's like I make it a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier because I'll go in, and if someone's kind of like, pardon my French, an asshole about it, I'll kind of sit there and I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna rip something out of you that you're gonna teach me something, and they'll end up saying something. But like, it is very intimidating at first, like walking into your very first fly shop. Don't really know what to expect.
I'm sure. I'm a firm believer in, like, I got a lot of hobbies too, but always learning something new. So, I'm picking up different things even later in life that are intimidating and not easy to get into. But there's something really rewarding about sucking at something for a while and getting incrementally better at it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's really satisfying for me.
It is. I agree with that. Like fly time was like that for me, where it's like I sucked at it for so long. I still suck at it, honestly. But like, kind of watching the progression go, and like seeing the difference in like a lot of the flies that I tie, it's like, you know what, that's pretty good. But that is something like going into your I collect sports cards, like hobby cards and stuff like that. Walking into your first baseball card shop can feel the same way, just because it's like there's so much stuff. I get like overwhelmed. Like that's how I was when I was in middle school. But it's one of those things. Everybody ends up kind of getting over it and all that.
Yeah.
But
and you make friends. That's another thing about learning new things is you're gonna meet new people and connect with new people all the time. And there's so many great communities. If it's fly fishing, surfing, whatever it might be. And it's generally more or less, some of those communities are smaller and harder to break into, and some of them are a lot more welcoming. Personally, I found the fly fishing community to always be super welcoming, and that's been kind of nice. I mean, I'm sure if you're whatever getting into someone's way on a river, it may not be as welcoming, but more or less, the fly fishing community I've always found to be really accepting and welcoming.
Same here. Like I felt the same way. Like once you meet one person, they introduce people. They introduce people to you. Like when I met Sean from After Work Fish Club, he kind of like sent me Javi's contact info, and then Javi sent me like 30 people. That man knows everybody down there in Florida, which has been really cool to see because that little community that he has down there is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that brings me to the next question. I heard you were a witness of the legendary Manhole Cover Zyn story.
So it's interesting you should ask about this because I have to admit that I might have been well into my cup when if I'm thinking of the same thing you're thinking of happened, and I think myself and Javi and Jimmy Marsh Bum all were. Was they had come up to fish actually. They came up in June about two years ago, and for 2 days we went out trying to find stripers, and we found endless bluefish. And so the bluefish kind of took over because they were blitzing on top of the water, and it was a lot of fun just to throw poppers and stuff at these bluefish and catch them on fly rods. And one or two gorilla blues were a lot of fun on a fly rod. So they came up and we went out and probably had a decent number of drinks and some burgers or something. And I think there was something about maybe Jimmy dropping a Zyn
Yeah.
pouch. But it's the 5 second rule at least, and even in New York City, I give him a pass. So he didn't die from it, and it made him stronger, probably.
he told me that story. I was like, I think New York City is the last place that I'd do that in. And then he
Yeah.
sent me the video, which was even funnier. The video was so funny. But I had to ask about that. Had to.
I say 5 second rule applies.
Oh
So.
yeah. It applies everywhere in my opinion. But dude, so this is how I close out all my podcast episodes is the 5 songs. So I give you 5 songs for the playlist. And I just kind of do this because I listen to like a wide variety of music. And I kind of like to see what other people are listening to. So, what are your 5 songs? I'll give you mine as well.
All right. Here's my. I obviously I prepared for this too because I listened to some of the other podcasts and got excited about that. I gotta find this playlist. Is it on
It's on
Spotify or?
Spotify.
And it's Trout Tunes.
Yeah, Trout Tunes Season 2. Or Season 1.
Okay,
I'll
I'll
send
find
it
it.
to you.
Thanks. If you could send it to me, because obviously, like, an old guy couldn't find it. But here's my 5 songs. James McMurtry, Copper Canteen. That's one of my favorites. So, and so I got a range of songs too. My next one is Helmet Unsung, the guitar intro into that song. That's a good one.
Helmet. Oh, yep. There it is. I got it.
Yep. And you get Copper
Yes, sir.
Canteen by James McMurtry. Okay. Louis Prima, Just a Gigolo.
What is it?
Louis Prima. And the song Just a Gigolo, this is one of my dad's songs, so that's why I'm putting that in there.
Jet the Gigolo?
No, Louis Prima, Just a Gigolo, I Ain't Got Nobody. You'll recognize it when you listen to it. You've heard it before, I'm sure. Louis Prima was what, from the 50s, 60s?
Yeah. I took an appreciation for music class.
All right, there you go.
Let's see.
It's on the album Wildest.
Okay. Willie.
Louis Prima, Louie.
Oh, Louis. My bad. I thought it was Willie.
I'm probably saying it in a way that sounds like Willie.
Oh, it's all good. Louis Prima. You got it. All right, here it is.
All right.
Play it quick and so I can add it. Yeah, I've heard that song for sure. I've heard the intro to it.
I know you heard that one. Steve Earle. I like Steve Earle. I feel all right. Hopefully, no one else has picked these songs. We'll see on the list. But
I don't think anyone did. Nope.
Yeah, I feel all right by Steve Earle is number 4 for me. And number 5 is Dean Martin and Ricky Nelson, My Rifle, My Pony, and Me.
My Rifle. Let's see. There it is. Got it. Yeah. Here, I'll give you my 5. My 5 are all
right.
I think they're all over the place this week. I forget, dude. I listen to so much stuff, dude. There's so much on this playlist too. You'll look at it and be like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
But here it is. All right, so I got College Try by Future Birds. Hudson Commodore, Jason Isbell.
Mm-hmm.
Badfish, Sublime.
Yeah.
and then Sweet Baby James Taylor,
Uh huh.
and then Out the Door by Congress the band.
Nice.
Yeah,
There
that's
was a
all over the
Carolina
place.
skiff. With the marina where I had my boat, they had their Carolina skiff all done up in the Sublime, the green. He
Yeah,
had like Sublime Charters or something, bad fish.
yep,
Yeah, he had a tricked out Carolina skiff to look like that.
that's pretty sweet, dude. I
Yeah.
like being up there up north because like I have a family in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
Oh yeah.
Just going
Yeah.
around and seeing all the different boats and like different names and stuff like that, and it's just cool. Like there's a Grateful Dead one in Marblehead Harbor that I like a lot. It's got the dancing bear on the side, and then
Yeah.
dude, there's so many. My cousin's Regulators timeout. Um, he played hockey,
Nice.
and then there's
Yeah.
so many. I love just driving around and looking at the boats out there. But
Yeah.
that's all I got for you today, man. Is there any thanks or plugs you want to give?
I mean, I'll plug myself and say if you want to see any of my artwork, it's my first and last name, joelstoehr.art. You can see my website there, or Instagram is my name as well. There's no art, just Joel Stoehr. You can look at the artwork there. Maybe see a picture of my dog that destroyed all my fly tying supplies last week. And those two plugs. I don't have anyone else on hand to think I should plug, but I'll plug myself. So
Sounds good. I'll put your website and all that in the show notes and all that. And
awesome.
dude, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me on, Ryan. I really appreciate it.
What's up, guys? That was the interview with Joel Stoehr. This was a really cool episode. Super, super interesting guy. Super cool story. And he's got some awesome artwork. I'm going to link his website in the description, and you can go check it out. He's got some unbelievable artwork, really cool storyteller, and really cool David Goggins book that he was in. I'll also put the link in the description for that. But big thank you to him for coming on. But before we go, it helps out a ton if people give me a review on Apple, uh, Spotify, subscribe on YouTube. If you feel so inclined, go ahead and do that. If you don't, I won't hate you. Uh, just listening and all that is a huge help to me. So thank you to everybody that does consistently listen, and everybody that has left a review, and everybody that is subscribed and all that. Couldn't thank y'all enough. But before we leave, once again, code Wrangler10 at riversmith.com. Check it out. That's all I got for everybody today. Like, subscribe. If you got questions, comment. But until Friday, I will see you guys then.